Hey everyone, how is it going? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well because today we're talking about music, and today we are looking at my recent music pickups and finds. Now, it's been a little while since my last video in general. I've been pretty busy, as some of you know. I'm a performer. I do improvised theater. There's a festival recently that I performed in. All kinds of stuff. I've got some other video ideas in the works about that aspect of what I do. So that'll be a separate chat, separate conversation. But for now, we're getting into music finds. Now I have three records, one tape, and a good stack of CDs to go through. The first bit were all found thrifting. So these records were all $1.99 each, and I'm happy to add them into my collection. This first one here is the debut album from Spyro Gyra. Here it is here still in shrink as well, which is pretty cool. I've talked about them as a little bit as well before. They're one of the journey to jazz fusion bands that I got into. I believe I found just very coincidentally three of their albums in one go, and then I picked up another one. I would describe them as the Weather Channel music. If you can imagine what the Weather Channel music is, that is the style of jazz they play. It's just very pleasant. Out of the now, this is the fifth album of theirs I own. This is probably the most jazz fusion-y. I think I like it the most out of all of them because of that. There's a bit more of a rock influence. There's a bit more experimentation. And I'm happy to have this into my collection. Do I need any more Spyro Gyro? Probably not, but if I find it again for a buck, 99, yeah, I'll totally add that in. But I've got the debut now. Happy to add that. Super cool. Next up, this is an artist. I feel, we all need this record and their other live album in our collections as well. This is Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison. Again, $2. The vinyl is super, super clean. Again, an artist I don't know too much about beyond, the biopic and stuff like that, the portrayal in movies. But definitely an artist where the live material is kind of what we latch onto more so than the studio albums. So I'm happy to add that as well. So $2 can't go wrong there. And the final album I picked up was Emerson, Lake and Palmer Works Volume 2. Show off the back. So where's Volume 1? It's sort of a hit and miss project. It's, three sides with each one being a solo presentation, I suppose, by each artist. To varying degrees of success. You at least have two fantastic all band tracks on the D side of Works Volume 1. Works Volume 2 came out the following year, and it's just outtakes from previous efforts and albums just slapped together, but not necessarily sold as a compilation. Just, Works Volume 2 to me would mean more of what we got from Volume 1. So maybe at least outtakes from those solo sessions or something like that. This is just not great. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, they're one of those bands where, they flew so close to the sun. They're, the best representation of everything we all love and hate about progressive rock as a genre. And this is one of those albums that really showcases it. But that said, I do have a soft spot for a lot of the early catalog, first, four and a half albums. And even Works Volume 1 does have some great stuff on it. This one, I've given it a listen so far. Cool. Next up is the Singular tape I found while thrifting as well. This is I think this is the second album by this band, the two-tone UK band Madness. Here it is there, absolutely. Big hit from this one was the opener Baggy Trousers. As far as I know, that was the big single from this album. Madness are great. I think out of all the two-tone bands, they're, certainly in terms of output, the most successful. But I think in terms of being able to adapt to contemporary styles while still kind of retaining what it is that made them originally great. The Specials, a fantastic debut album, and then they just very quickly kind of pivoted in their style before returning decades later. Selector, again, they only had, an album and a bit of their style before burning out, and then eventually, similarly, returning back. English Beat, they only had, I think, 3 or 4 albums initially, and I think their first 2 are really great, and they kind of dwindled. Actually, well, Special Beat's pretty good. Okay, their entire discography is pretty good. But that said, Madness, They've got a great discography that I think really blends pop and pop rock well with the two-tone style. So check that one out. Next up of the thrifting pile are two CDs. This is Roger Waters' Radio Chaos. Here, a concept album, shocker, from Roger Waters. Again, I've kind of said I usually prefer David Gilmour in terms of all the solo Floyd work, although I really think they worked best together as a band. I've given this just like quick scan through listen, make sure it all worked and all, everything like that. And it sounds different than I was expecting, a lot more kind of hooky and melodic than I was expecting. So I'm gonna get more into this one to see, you know, what's actually on offer there. And maybe will I change my opinion? Not on Roger Waters as a person. That one's kind of solid, but as a musician. And then the next weird name, Priest Live. This is their I think over 10 years after Unleashed in the East. This is their original. This is the original CD copy of this live album, their second one. It doesn't have any 70s material on it from the band, but it's got all the hits from that time period. And it's a really good live album. I like it a lot. All right, next up, we're all, some of these are birthday gifts, some I purchased myself. All fantastic albums. Because why would I? Well, because I'm a completionist. That's why I might have things I don't like. First up, some CanCon. This is Your Favorites by the Tragically Hip. Why would I be buying a greatest hits collection? First of all, Tragically Hip are fantastic, one of the best bands ever, certainly one of the best Canadian bands ever. And this was a best of with two totally remastered tracks, two brand new songs at the time. And it was all chosen by the fans. Fans got to vote. So it's two discs, 18 on one, 19 on the next. They're just a fantastic band. And it's one of those best ofs where if your favorite tracks aren't on here, it's because they have so many amazing deep cuts. But I was listening to this digitally the other day, and I was like, man, I just need a copy of this. I've got a good handful of their discography, I think 7 or 8 of their albums, but this is a fantastic, Your Hits, fantastic compilation. Great. The next two were some remaining birthday gifts for myself from last month. From other folks, this is the new album from Steve Wilson, The Overview. 2 tracks. A lot of people are lauding it as his, you know, grand return to progressive rock, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I think Steven Wilson is a fantastic producer, a fantastic musician, but I think a lot of people really want him to produce certain kinds of genres. And when he goes too far into pop, not a fan. Too far into prog, repeating what he's done previously or doing what he does in Porcupine Tree. He reminds me a lot of Alan Parsons in that you just take each album, take each concept as it comes. And this to me, it is progressive rock, but it's progressive rock by someone that took a little time in the pop world, took a little time in the art rock scene. You know, it's progressive rock that reminds me of a bit of Genesis, actually, that kind of early Phil Collins in the lead era of Genesis, you know, Trick of the Tail, stuff like that. I really enjoy it. It's a great album. Love it, love it. The next one, this is a beautiful album. I think it was Glenn Kelway from The Basement first brought it to my attention on one of his videos previously. But this is Cat Power Sings Dylan, the famous 1966 Royal Albert Hall concert. 2 sets. First set is acoustic, second set with the band. And this is just, I mean, Cat Power is an amazing, amazing musician. And to have the gall to do something like this, cover an entire, you know, infamous set from Bob Dylan, you're not copying Bob Dylan, but you're treating it with such reverence and respect. It's just a great album. It's incredibly beautiful. I love this album so much. The next 2 were purchases I made for myself maybe a month ago. Again, let's go full circle, back to the beginning. I do improv, I do performance. It was with a duo I'm involved in. So I say duo, that means me and one other person. We do this thing based around the idea of dreaming, and it made me think about the music I kind of associate with these themes and tones. And for me, it's post-rock largely. So I've got 2 post-rock albums. This is the newest album from the great Canadian post-rock band Godspeed You Black Emperor. The full title is here. No title as of 13th February 2024, 28,340 dead. They're a political band, so this is obviously about the current conflict in the Middle East. but it's all instrumental. Great post rock. If you've never heard them at all, check out their one of their earlier albums, lift your skinny fists to the heavens like antennas, something like that. It's a beautiful album. This is a great album too. Love it. Fantastic. And the next one was, I think this is now 2 years old. So all these names. Atta by Sigiros. This is a beautiful album too, and a lot of people say it's a return to form for them. Post rock as a genre is one I've kind of recently gotten back into. I was super into it, getting on 20 years ago, and I think I just had too much, or maybe the bands got really, really samey. But it's this album is beautiful and fantastic, and it's very evocative, very emotional. It's the kind of music. This is going to sound super artsy. It's the kind of music that doesn't tell you four. It's the kind of music that asks you, what is two plus two? Half of you threw up in your mouth just then. So there you go. But those are all my picks. And great vinyl, great tape. I might put the tape on now. I love that one a lot. And some great CDs. And that's what I've been up to recently. So I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Tell me how much you also love and adore post rock as a genre. Actually, what I would like to know, because I know people say like, oh, put a thing in the comment. But I'm like, what's a genuine question I would like to actually get the answer to? I want to know about you and the Tragically Hip, and I want to know if you told me your top two. Just give me your top two. Don't do that. Your top two Tragically Hip songs. What would those be? Ooh, I might have to take time on that. Definitely Ahead by a Century. I think just because of kind of it was the last song ever performed by the band. Um, This is going to be a different video. Can't think about it right now. But otherwise, yeah, give me your top two. And I will catch you next time. Bye.